Ladies, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. Karibuni sana. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Let me adjust my microphone. Okay, hopefully I'm audible. Kahawa, tafadhali kahawa. Oh, okay, I'm losing something. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. I hope you're doing well. This is Kenya Revolutionary for another evening of politics, political updates, Kenyan politics, or should I say politics? Topic of the day, political science, not political science, Kenyan Politics 101. This is the class today, okay? We are, please have a seat, take a seat. This is your professor. We shall navigate through what's going on in Kenya presently. We'll just brush on what's happening and I'll give you my opinion and I will be curious to hear your opinion too. If you live anywhere near Kenya or you're living under a bridge or you've been wondering what's going on up there, the biggest topic this week has been the pending impeachment of the Deputy President Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua, that's his name. He has been not approved. He has been accused of 11 charges that have been tabled. Karibu, Mr. Moda. Nice seeing you, my brother. It's been a while. There has been 11 whatever that has been tabled as grounds for impeachment against the Deputy President of Kenya, which yesterday the National Assembly, the MPs voted on the motion to go ahead with the impeachment. So the matter went to the Senate. And I didn't actually follow what happened in the Senate. I was just in and out of the news. I heard there was some people, notable senators like Senator Sifuna coming from ODM, refused to, vote to go on and to impeach the vice president, among others. I didn't follow, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, I want to mention on the bigger issue. Other news that I think is notable is that I hope I'm audible. Like for some reason, I feel like I'm not audible, but I hope I'm audible. DJ Mode is singing. I went for impeachment. Let me highlight that. I went for impeachment. I came back. Adani, as I say, the head of Adani, the CEO of Adani, that's corrupt organization, is here. The Indian corrupt organization that wants to take over JKIA among other airports. They are here. He's here. The CEO is working hard to secure the deal so they can run JKIA. He's here. And in fact, today they were challenging the High Court. Challenging it's Ninio. It's basically saying that High Court cannot, have no what do you call it? Have no what do you call it? I wanna jurisdiction to angalia your story, Adani. We shall look at all of that. Besides, we shall also hear from people who are discussing. Our friend Morara is turning out to be an interesting guy. As a matter of fact, let me just start with Kibaso. Kibaso. The flavor of the month, Morara Kibaso. I was in another platform. I was following another platform, and I saw people from the diaspora who are basically still sending him money, and they are supporting Kibaso, which it is well within their right. But I'm telling you, if it's not apparent to you, then I don't know that this guy is kind of. But anyway, let's start with him. Let me just start with Kibaso. Let me start with Kibaso. Kibaso Morara, the flavor of the month. This is somebody who some people are actually referring to as the next president. Let's start with Kibaso. I will start with Kibaso. Kibaso. This is freestyle. Not political science. This is Kenyan Politics 101. This is Politics 101, Kenyan Politics version, okay? Let me show you how Kenyan politics work. For those of you who don't know how Kenyan politics work. Just remember, there's a lot of corruption tribal leanings and very poor observation reading of the zeitgeist of the country. Let me start with Kebaso. Let me start talking too much. I'm talking too much. Let me start with Kebaso. Kebaso, please, what's going on? Kebaso apparently is going on a 3-day, not a 3-day, is going on a holiday, but he was sending message to his follower, loyal followers. In fact, at some point he said, kama unashuka hapa, tafadhali shuka. Basically, he's saying, I'm not begging people to follow me. If you want to stop supporting me, you can go ahead and stop following. But anyway, let's just Kebaso, let's go. Kebaso. I'll let him talk. Let me talk. Let him talk. Kebaso, go ahead. Let me start.
So I'm supposed to be on holiday. Lakini there's just one more thing I want to say before I retire to my holiday. And it is this. Guys, the mistake I keep making is that I keep reading comments. Na nili-advise you nisikuange nasoma comments. But I read them because I want feedback. I want to know how people think. Look here. Kuna wale watu wanasema kwamba Morara, you should look for political advisors. You should look for political advisors who have been in politics, Kenyan politics for a long time, who are experienced to teach you how Kenyan politics is done. I have an answer for you. My answer is no. I know how Kenyan politics is, and I don't want it that way. And I don't want to be like Kenyan politicians. That is why I don't want that kind of experience. What I need on my team are people who know how Kenyan politics is. They have experienced it, but they are ready to be dreamers. They're ready to dream of change, and they're ready to make practical steps towards change. So mambo ya kuniambia, oh, Morara, tafuta, there's another saying, tafuta public relations manager. Look for public relations manager to be drafting your tweets, to be drafting your social media posts before they go out. I have an answer. No, I'm not going to look for a public relations manager. Let Kenyans know me for who I am. Let those who love me for who I am for real. And those who hate me, let them hate me for who I am for real. Mambo ya kukuwa na PR strategist, that's faking. I'm going to be a fake. Because you'll find all my tweets, all my social media posts have been curated. They have been carefully measured so that they go out zikiwa very measured, so as to paint a certain false picture. Let people know who I am for real. This is the mistake we've been making in Kenyan leadership. People keep taking PR strategies, marketing strategies. They paint for us a false picture of who they are, and we elect them. Let's know people kama mtu, if somebody is intelligent, let's know that this person akili yake kopoa. If somebody is hayuko sawa huku juu, let's know that this person is not okay. If somebody is arrogant, let's know that this person is arrogant based on how they speak. If somebody is humble, let's know them for their humility. If somebody is not known for their wisdom, let's know that this person is never wise. All right? I've also read some comments of people saying, oh, Morara, you are too entitled. Kwani uli expect sisi followers wako tutokea to kusupport. Oh, yes. I expected you to come out. Because you've lied to me that we are together. We are supposed to be together. I'm supposed to fight for you so that you fight for me. We're supposed to be comrades in the struggle. Do we want change, both of us? Yes. Am I doing something towards that change? Yes. I may not do everything you want every day because I have a mind of my own. I may not do things the way you want them every day because I have a way how I have also dreamt about Kenya. Everybody has their own dream. But if we do every little thing that somebody can do, kama wewe unaweza, kama kuna kitu unaona Morara hajafanya na unaona unaweza ifanya, do it. The goal is one. The goal is one. We are both headed in the same direction. We are just not doing things the same way. I'm doing them this way. You're supposed to do them the other way so that tupatane mbele. Remember, I can't do everything. So don't say, oh, kijana, usikizi, tunakuadvise, usikizi. I have advice and I listen to your comments. The wise advice, I take it. The one that I can't take, I'm unable to take it. But I can't take every advice. In every first social media post I make, there's more than 100 advices. I can't take all of them. I have to pick one and run with it. I'm already struggling to fight for a better Kenya, not for anything, but even for myself. I'm doing it because I believe in it. And even if I remain alone in the struggle, if I still believe in it, I'll keep doing it. So let every Kenyan start making baby steps. Unajua msikue kama, I don't want to mention names, but tusikwange kila time tuna run hashtag occupy, occupy. We're going to occupy, we're going to march. Then you never show up, you never show up. Kazi ni kuambia wengine occupy, then you never show up. Then you make fun of us and you make a mockery of us who usually show up. Hapana bwana, tuache kudanganyana Mimi, if you are not genuinely in this struggle, na kama uendi kutokea, and if we are not going to struggle together, si lazima tukue na akili moja, si lazima tufanye kitu moja. But if you are not genuinely in this, then you are part of the problem. Na ukini unfollow mimi sina shida. I'm not this for followers. Mimi nikiwa na 1,000 followers, I just fight for what I believe in, not for followers. So wewe kama unasikia kwamba mambo haiko sawa, unfollow. Do your thing. Lakini mimi ile kitu nasema, kama umenifollow na una believe huyu kijana kitu iko kwa roho yake ndio iko kwa roho yako. This boy is fighting for change and I want to join him, or I want him to join me, or I want us to work together. Mimi nitaunda muziki, huyo ataunda website, huyo atafanya Vampire Diaries, huyo ata-inject kwa media, huyo ata-analyze financial reports kwa sababu yeye ni mtu wa finance. If you are going to do every little thing, kila mtu play role yake, tulete change Kenya, hiyo ni poa. Hiyo niko ready. Lakini historia tunaambiana online, occupy, we are going to send this government home, then time ikifika hamtokei. Ni kutudanganya the rest of us, hiyo hapana. Hiyo unfollow tu, don't follow me for entertainment. I don't want followers who are following me for entertainment. I need people who actually believe in change and they want it. And I'm going to make mistakes, by the way. I'm not perfect, kwani I'm not an angel. I'll make very serious mistakes. Kitu nataka ni mnicorrect. Na mnikuwe ready kunisamea. Na pia mimi nikuwe ready kuwasamea mkimake mistakes. Because we are in this together. Lazima tusameane, tukifanya makosa tusonge mbele. That is the last thing I'm going to say. I was supposed to be on a break. Nimetoka tu kwa break kidogo nikuje kusema hiyo kitu moja kwamba we actually believe in change, we are fighting for it. Lakini tusidanganyane. If you are not in this, it's okay. It's not a must, nobody's forcing you, just stay away. Sawa sawa. And it's not entitlement when we request for support. Kwani what can I do as Morara? Kwani mimi Morara peke yangu naweza leta change kweli nisiposupportiwa? Guys, tukue serious. Can Morara alone bring change to Kenya? Me kama mtu kanatoshana hivi, me alone can I bring change to Kenya without support, without your support? And I have to ask for it. I'm begging for your support. Nasema bana wewe nishikilieni. Wacha kuniachilia. Wacha kunidanganya online kwamba mko na mimi, ikifika kwa ground kila mtu amelost.
All right. Kebaso Morara. Kebaso Morara is losing his mind. Anyway, I built my case the other day and I showed you why this man he's not different from Kasmuel. But at least majority of his followers have not seen the light yet. They think he's actually a viable option. But he's not, by no means. But it's okay if you still think he's the man and Eleni Muamini. Later on mtaona, mina ambianga mapema. Now, to his plea or his response that mambo ya ku advisors and all, he wants to be authentic and he wants to write his own tweets. He doesn't want a PR group. Well and fine, that's his own prerogative. But there's a reason why people hire people like the public relation people. It is to guide you so that they look at how people react and how people's concerns, and they do so accordingly. Yes, Pen Nyagaka, I know this is your boy, so Nyagaka, I know that's your boy. Morara is your boy, but I don't think he is who he say he is. I don't think so. I do not think so. I don't believe in him. I think he's a government tool that's been used for this grand dist- destruction that is meant to be played out. Him, Gachagua, he's part of all this circus that's going on. And just so you know my position in this whole thing, I've said it before. That's why I'm not going to be delving into all the arguments that were made in Parliament for the impeachment or against the impeachment. If you look at the impeachment process, I mean, just for the sake of talking about it, it is very clear that the whole process is kind of a sham. Like, there's no real strong reason to impeach Gachagua, but that's done by design. Okay, they know this thing is going to be stopped at the courts. Okay, Penyagaka is saying that Morara is like his grandfather, George Morara. Well, let me not say yeah, because I never had the chance to get to view or listen to George Morara. I never knew him, so I can't really comment on that. So I don't know how different or how similar they are. What I can say is that this Morara Kebaso Senior, based on what I've observed so far, I think he's very dodgy and he is being used by the government. He's working with Ruto. And I mean, actually, there's an interesting tweet by him, and I will read it today. I will read it to you, Nani Nyagaka, if you're still here. I will read it for the benefit of the people if you want to see. It was one of the. He just tweeted a few hours ago, and the response was quite appalling. Now, let me see if I can find it. I'll show you. It was not so long ago. It was a few. Hold on, let me find it real quick. Okay, here's the tweet. It was 14 hours ago. Let me read it for you. Okay, Nyagaka. Nyagaka, let me show you something that's really, really kind of. And I'm not trying to convince you, but he was getting a backlash from this tweet. Let me just go ahead and show you this tweet by Morara. Here is the tweet by Morara Kebaso Senior. Just real quick. And it will. All right. Can you see the screen, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades? Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Okay. All right. I hope you can see the screen. Let me read it to you so you can kind of get an idea of what he's saying. Morara Kebaso Senior. This is 14 hours ago. He said, "Mwenye anashuka gari, ashuke sai. We are on a mission of change. I cannot afford lukewarm supporters. Kama uko na mimi, kufa na mimi, ni kufe na wewe. Kama unashuka gari, shuka haraka. Kuna mahali tunaenda." Then, of course, there was response about that. So basically, for those of you who are not Swahili speakers, he was saying, listen, if you're down with my movement, be down with my movement. I don't need you to be, on the fence about it. So if you're dying with me, die with me. Ride or die. Be a ride or die, okay? No lukewarms, basically what he's saying. And he's saying, if you want to unfollow me, please do so quickly. He's not begging for supporters. Basically, that's what he's saying. Again, this shows how young and really inexperienced he is. But, listen, let's go ahead. So here is what people say. You can see people are saying, wacha kiburi master. Then when Morara responds again, says, wamezoea kuniuzia uoga ati watanidi platform. Wacha washuke gari, tuendelee safari na true believers. Basically, that's what he's saying. Then you see how people are highlighting. They say, I cannot afford lukewarm supporters, in brackets. Then somebody, we are not anyone supporters. We are a team like-minded individuals fighting a common goal. Good governance. Focus. Don't be entitled. Don't be termed. Then he says, funga mshipi. It's tough. It's a tough road ahead. Then here, Jim Ju highlights his, again, if there was something that exposed Nyagaka, Morara, it was that Spice FM interview. I mean, it just showed his hand, and uh, majority of people just felt like this guy is working for Ruto. Jim Jua nauliza, do you genuinely believe that Gachagua is worse than Ruto? If so, how? And this is basically what he was saying. Then you see Morara Kibaso replies down there, say, yes, I believe so. You guys think he is better because he has never been president, so you haven't experienced him. If Gachagua becomes the president in Kenya, we will scream, tutapiga nduru. Then again, somebody gave him the one grave mistake that we don't have the luxury to do is mobilize ourselves again behind an individual or individuals instead of an ideology for the new Kenya. Personality-based politics is what has led us here, and we can solve our problems using the methods that created them. Then Morara responds and says, our institutions have failed in Kenya because of individuals, not because of ideology. We need leaders of integrity in our institutions. We need to start grooming them. Then Collins Mboha asked, accounting for the solicited funds is where you draw the line, Mikora. Basically, Morara, as you know, one of the big criticism that he has been facing from his followers or people who follow him closely is that he is not clear as to what he does with the money that people send him. He hasn't been very clear in that, and that's the big question mark. In fact, some people are saying he's not accountable, just like Ruto is not accountable on how he's using the borrowed money that he's borrowing. Then Morara again comes out and responds and said, I am unable to account for security fund without informing my enemies of my security arrangement. For that reason, I put a disclaimer that you should only send if you trust me. Now, that's a problem right there. So basically, Morara is saying that because huyu jamaa amesema, hey, one of his supporters is saying, listen, we Morara tunakupatia do, mara unasema you want money for your hospital bills, mara you want money for your security, mara you want money for sijui nini. But then when his supporters are asking, hey, listen, how did you use that money that we send you? The security ones. How much did you receive? How did, you know, what? Where's the breakdown? And then he starts saying, you know, I can't really, basically he's saying he cannot disclose where that money goes because it will show my enemies what aspect of a security I'm using it on, which is a really lame excuse. We are not expecting you to give us a detail of how your security detail is, the architecture of your security detail, the blueprint of your security detail. That's not what he's asking. Your supporter is basically saying, hey, listen, the money that we sent you, where does it go? Can you give us a breakdown? Do you give 5 shillings going towards your hospital bills or 5 shillings going towards your security? Where's the accountability? Where is this going? Where, you see? So that's where Morara is, and that's the biggest criticism that he has been receiving from his supporters. And to me, that's not an issue. I mean, I'm not Morara supporter. I've never supported it. I never really think he was a threat to Ruto. I'm really convinced now. I'm 151% convinced that Morara is working for Ruto. And all this shenanigans about him going to DCI and being released and Maras John and the whole it's a whole scripted big con game, okay? To detract people to think that he's the alternative. Morara is not an alternative. Morara cannot defeat Ruto in any elections. Even if Ruto doesn't rig, Morara is not that famous as you think. He doesn't have it. I'm sorry to break it down to you. And if you see what he's advocating for, I was just, like I say, I broke down the interview the other day on his Spice FM, and I told you this guy, no, he's not serious to be like honest. And I'm sorry, my brother Nyagaka there might not agree with me, but that's fine, Nyagaka. I respect your view. If you feel Morara is the man, that's okay. I mean, hey, we just agree to disagree. And if you want to say something, I can always bring you to the, ask for the link. I can put the link there and you can come in and convince me. Tell me why Morara is real. Why do you think Morara is the person to actually defeat Ruto? And that's why I'm saying he's just not, yeah. Then again, yesterday we were contributing. You see, this is how somebody's asking. If you can see the screen there where I'm saying somebody asking Mr. Kinyafa ask. Yesterday we were contributing for your security. Today you are on your break. What does that mean? And of course, they tell you I need a minute. That's fine. That's not yeah. So he's just not forthcoming about how he's using the money that's, and people are telling here, you can say people are, who are you giving ultimatums? You've completely lost it. Again, if you listen to that video that I just played, which is 7-minute video, I'm not going to repeat it again. He's basically telling people, if you want to follow me, follow me. If you don't want to follow me, don't follow me. That's not a language of a serious candidate. And that's why it might actually be prudent of him to find himself a PR team that's experienced in communication. Because as a candidate, you don't want to sound like, you just don't care whether people follow you or not. I mean, if you're trying to persuade people to follow you, you have to use language that's persuasive, okay? Not telling people that, I mean, that's not how you do it. People like we on the social, about to subscriber. Yeah, if let's say if I have a social media platform like this one and I want to get subscribers, I can't use language like that, but I can because I'm not running for a position. I'm not. That's not my goal. My goal is not just people to subscribe just for the sake of subscribing, so I can have a lot of subscribers and stuff and be famous. That's not the whole point. My point is providing a platform where people can express themselves and learn something, challenge each other's views, and so forth, so forth, so forth. So even if I have 2 people or 5 people, that's fine. Okay. But for a presidential candidate, somebody who wants to remove Ruto from power, you cannot use such language. I have the latitude and the freedom to speak anyhowly because I'm not accountable to anybody. Okay. It's not like I have to be account for my words or whatever the case is. Unless, this platform that I'm using, says, hey, you cannot use that language. Then I can make that. Exactly. All right, which is fine. Yeah. Like Pen Yagaki saying, we don't beg, which is fine. Nobody's saying you have to beg, but I'm just saying, again, to me, that's not my problem with him. My problem with him, I'm just saying I can see how actually he's getting a backlash because of his language. Not language, but his what do you call it? I don't want to say dispensation. Yeah, you can say dispensation. The way he's coming off, again, for a presidential candidate to say, hey, listen, you don't have to vote for me, but if you want to vote for me, vote for me. But if you don't want to vote for me, don't vote for me. I mean, if you sound like that as a presidential candidate, no one will vote for you because they'll be like, who are you? You just came out yesterday. That's exactly what I'm saying. So that's the whole need. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point. That's why he needs a PR guy who will sit him down and tell him, hey, listen, Morara, I understand you want to shoot your videos and be organic and authentic, but there's how. Communication is a huge aspect in a campaign. When you're running a campaign, communication is is vital, okay? So again, Nyagaka, just to respond to you, can you imagine if you're running for president and you're telling people, like, I don't beg for votes? Again, Nyagaka, again, my brother Nyagaka, and I respect your view. You're a very intelligent man. I don't see him as a viable opposition. Like I say, every indication he's not doing anything. He's not in my view, and again, I might be wrong. I'm not right every time, and Nyagaka, you might be right. In my view, I don't think he gives Ruto sleepless nights. Okay, because if you look at even what he was saying, if he's saying that Gachagua is worse than Ruto, and Ruto is the one who actually is in charge, I don't see it. But I mean, yeah, we can have different views. Like I say, Nyagaka, you might be right. Like I said, we have our bets about Trump and Nani Kamala. In a month or two, tutakuwa na majibu. So it's okay. It's all good. In my opinion, I think Morara is working for Ruto. He's a new control opposition. He's used for this distraction and all this stuff. I don't think he's a real candidate. And another thing that people are complaining about is hiyo mambo yake ya kuombaomba pesa. Again, I don't follow him. I've never contributed to his campaign, so I can't really speak on that. But those are the things that he needs to. But that's him. So again, if you ask me, Morara is not that guy. He's not the opposition that you might believe he is. But again, I might be wrong. Like Nyagaka said, Morara, win or lose, Morara will be the strong opposition. That's another opinion, okay? Which is fine, perfectly fine. Your opinion is as valid as mine. So no problem there, okay? All right. So there's some couple of people who are on JKL today. I think it was Mr. I forgot his name. Crap. I forgot people's name. Can somebody help me? Muluka Barak. And what's his face? The other guy who speaks like a robot. No. I'm just joking. Anyway, this was a good. Let me just play this one. This one passionate argument here. Hold on. Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Let me play. This was one of the arguments that was made yesterday that I thought was really new. Yeah, Morara is Mesh Wanjiku. Hey, wewe utafanya Nyagaka Nyagaka. Please deal with that comment. Haya. Mimi nitawacha nitawaambia nini. But anyway, here's a statement that I think really this guy, let me Muskie tu pekee. Listen to it.
Up to public participation in the constituencies. Mr. Speaker, I only wish that the energy that we are expending here to send a question to all Kenyans about one individual was being used to fight the issues that are failing us in our education, in our health sector. People here, the cost of living has gone too high. People have no jobs. Mr. Speaker, those are the things that this House should passionately deal with. But Mr. Speaker, for a whole day, and from, I don't know, even the last week or 2 weeks, to deal with that one matter, Mr. Speaker, I think that we are losing direction. And it is important, Mr. Speaker, that we deal with the things that are affecting our people. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the education sector, I talked about it here the other day. We don't even have classes for grade 9 going into JSS. Mr. Speaker, the funding model for university has failed. Mr. Speaker, the insurance sector, NHIF, is having a problem, Mr. Speaker. How then do we spend taxpayers' money and time to come and deal with a matter of one single individual, Mr. Speaker? Now we are told that this person, Mr. Speaker, is a tribalist. But Mr. Speaker, those comments that he made, yesterday he made it very clear. And I was shocked. I was very shocked, Mr. Speaker, yesterday, to realize that in fact Kenya Kwanza was actually a company that is limited by shares and that people negotiated shares for themselves. The mover of the motion is a member of MCCP. MCCP negotiated shares for Lower Eastern. Mr. Speaker, because we had 2 cabinet secretaries in this government. Now, Mr. Speaker, we only have 1. And I'm telling you, Mr. Speaker, actions speak louder than words. The Deputy President may have said that he is a shareholder and there are issues about his community. But if you look at the appointments that are being made in Kenya, then you will realize that the person of the president himself is the one who is the biggest tribalist, Mr. Speaker, because he's appointing people from his own community for every position. Mr. Speaker, if we have to find a situation where a school has failed, you do not fire the deputy principal. You get rid of the principal. Our problem is not the deputy. It is the head.
Yes, Farah.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, Farah.
I think that was the most interesting submission in that parliament. I didn't watch most of people's submission because I thought it was really silly, but I think that was a really good point. He was making that if it's about the charges of being a tribalist, Ruto is the biggest tribalist. I mean, look at the appointments. If it's a matter of, everything that they're blaming Gachagua as a ground of impeachment, you can actually use that on the president. Why are you going for his deputy? Go for the president. This is actually, I don't know. This is silly. Rosa is saying ODM goons put the fear of God in Morara. Now he has to take a break and come back to tell us who he really is. In fact, in one of his posts, he listen, one of his latest posts, he put aliweka ninio poll. Is this boy what was the word he used? Is this boy a project? That was one of the Ninio. So hi, Morara. Anyway, if you still believe in Morara, I don't know, but it's fine. 50 metal chairs landed on him, yet he was out and about within a day and a half. Yes, because in the morning he made that press conference walking, pretending to be like injured, and when they ask where did you injure yourself, he could not even explain. Then by afternoon or the next day, whatever, he was upright, moving his neck, head wet, whatever. He was in Citizen Spice FM, whatever, and he was giving an interview with no scratches, no marks, whatever. And later on, he went live and made a video. I mean, it's a sham. It's a whole sham. This Kebaso guy is, I mean, afadhali nani Kasmuel now is gone to the point where hata anaenda kukutana Raila kwa nyumba ya Raila. So, ai, watu jamani. Ai, hey, mchezo wa town. Anyway, speaking of mchezo wa town, speaking of Raila Odinga, I think there was, what's his name? Nani Lumumba said he wrote Raila a letter and he wants to explain. Let me listen to Lumumba. What is Lumumba saying about Raila Odinga? Let's hear it real quick. This was from JKL.
Administration. He doesn't. My letter I say that Mr. Odinga is now the eminence grace, which means that he wields informal power in this administration. He doesn't have to shout about it, but he surreptitiously pulls certain strings which deliver. So never say never.
The kingmaker.
Never say never.
Good Lord.
Oh yeah. My letter I say.
So just to echo what he's saying, what Lumumba is saying, there's a lot of talk that Raila Odinga is really behind this impeachment of this motion, at least this motion to impeach Gachagua. They're saying, listen, I keep on saying here, and yes, and this is what I keep on saying. I want us to be thinkers. Let's think a little bit, okay? Let me challenge people into thinking. You don't have to agree with me again. It's okay to disagree with me, like my brother Nyagaka. We can amicably reach to different conclusions. Why is it that every time we have a new administration, okay? That's why I say this is a whole game. Uhuru Kenyatta was with William Ruto. Then they fell off, allegedly. I don't believe they were really enemies. This is just I think it was a play to kind of divide and rule people. But anyway, after walikosana, Uhuru and Raila, Uhuru and Ruto fell off. Right? Vile walikosana. Once they split, the bromance ended. After the handshake, Raila was blamed for the breakup. Now, Nani has Ruto is the president. Ruto, we just started hearing rumors that Ruto amekosana na Gachagua. Gachagua started making, whatever. It kind of like it was cooked up. There was nothing concrete that these people were mekosana. But anyway, the media started had us believe that they were mekosana. And it was, again, we were fed with this day in that Gachagua is not getting along with Ruto. And now you can see the same thing now. Today, there's a lot of bloggers who I believe are really connected to the government, blogger with Ruto. They're driving this narrative that again, wanakosana kwa sababu Raila is a power behind this division between Ruto and Gachagua. Why do they keep on feeding us this same script? That's why I say let's think a little bit. And I always raise this question again that people still don't want to confront. If you want to know but that this whole thing is a planned game, Ruto is in it, Gachagua is in it, Kenyatta is in it, I mean, and all this political class are in it. Okay? Not all the members of parliament are in it, but the major ones, the influencers. I asked and I posed this question and I've never gotten an answer. If, listen to me, if Uhuru Kenyatta really fell out with his deputy president at the time, William Samoei Ruto, why did he hand over power to him? Now, someone might argue and say, oh, no, he was forced to do so because the Constitution required him to do so. Ruto had won and Kenyatta had no choice but to pass on the sword, the symbol of, handing of a power. And my argument is this: you cannot make that Constitution argument because throughout the 10 years of Uhuru Ruto rule, okay, Uhuru being at the helm, they continuously, numerous times, violated the Constitution. They were not even, by the Constitution, they were not even supposed to be running for president. They were not supposed to run for president because they were facing criminal charges at the ICC. So even before they got to that state house, they were not supposed to be there. You remember when Maraga told the president to dissolve the party, he refused. When he was told to pick up the new judges, he refused. I can go on where Uhuru defied the court orders, defied the Constitution, and ruled by dictum. So you cannot argue that Kenyatta cannot refuse to leave power and not respect the Constitution. That's why I'm saying if Uhuru Kenyatta truly fell out with his deputy president at the time, William Samoei Ruto, he would have simply refused to hand over power to Ruto and say that Ruto is not somebody I trust. Ruto is not going to lead. He will lead us. He could have given us a bullshit reason not to give Ruto the sword, pass over the power to Ruto or hand over power to Ruto, and cite security reasons as to the reason why he would not do so. If he truly hated Ruto as we were meant to believe that they were not in Neo. That's why I keep on telling you, these guys are not enemies. It's a whole big script. And it's the same script that we are being fed again. Same actors, same script, same venue, and the same gullible people. Look at it again. Ruto goes on, becomes the president, okay? And mid his first term, now he doesn't get along with Gachagua. Right after what? The so-called, the new version of the handshake between Ruto and Raila, which we want to call bread-based government or broad-based government. And now look at the same thing, that the same narrative that they want to push again through the media. They're trying to get this. You had those Mount Kenya leaders before the motion was the week before the motion was brought up. Walianza kusema Raila. Again, the same person being blamed for the same crap between the president and the deputy. Okay? And we'll see the same thing happen. So, and again, I'm saying the Gachagua will probably won't be impeached. But there'll be a faction of the Gachagua sympathizers. That's why I'm saying this whole thing is scripted. The whole thing is designed to fail. Listen to me closely. Listen to me closely, and I want you to write it down. This whole impeachment process is a show, and it is designed to fail. They know that all those 11 charges, okay, ambao wameweka against Gachagua, okay, will not meet the threshold, is not provable, is not enough to get him impeached. Even if they impeach him at the legislative body, this will not fly in the courts. And Gachagua will survive this impeachment. And once he survives this impeachment, of course, he shall have earned himself a bunch of sympathizers, just like Ruto earned himself a bunch of sympathizers once their fake beef with Uhuru Kenyatta had been made public. Okay? Or was the narrative that they were enemies ililetwa and made to be a thing. I usually point at, if you remember when they were meeting at Bomas, when people were talking about the BBI, just go look at that video. You can tell it was acting. These people are not enemies. And that's why I'm saying this whole whatever happened at the legislative body was choreographed. It's fake. And they gave these 11 reasons, knowing that these 11 reasons will not stand, and they might impeach him at the legislative body, but in the courts we shall stop it. And Gachagua will remain as the deputy president. The aim is to divide and rule, because now Gachagua shall earn himself a bunch of sympathizers. And the majority of his sympathizers will be the Mount Kenya people. Shall rally around him because they'll see it. They're like, listen, that's what it is. Now, kuwekea link saizi nani. And we shall go through the same thing. And Raila and Ruto shall push for a change of the constitution. Probably that's why they are halting the process of choosing the IBC so they can get the right person who shall oversee the process, because we have to have a plebiscite before we change the constitution. It's the same script. I see people wasting, let me not say waste time, people discussing about how bogus these charges are, these 11 reasons are for Ninio. Thank you, Rosa. I see Nanim, DJ Moda wants to get in. Let me, Nyagaka, you're also welcome to get in. And everybody else that wants to come in, you're more than welcome. There's the link. Gia. Muniambie. It's the same script. I don't know why people can't see it. Ni mchezo wa town. That's why I don't spend a lot of time to try to listen to what the parliamentarians and all these senators were making, the cases they were making on the floor, because I know it's a game. That's why Audiulizi kwa nini they were so extra, being all animated. Because they know it's a script. So they have to be extra to try to convince you that they really want Gachagua out. Because it's a game, it's an acting job. Grand conspiracy. And the victim is you, the mwananchi. Karibu Melchizedek.
Kwani unaniweka kama nilikuwa na deni yako?
Sasa wewe huku uitisha link, umeitisha link the last minute nikakuwekea link. Sasa shida ni nini? Yes, theory, yeah.
Zilikuja kitabu na niangalia tu ni kama mimi sio Gachagua bwana.
Sasa mimi usipoitisha link sitakuwekea link mpaka useme nataka link niingie niseme kitu. Mi sana najuaje wewe ulikuja you wanted to just watch alafu uende ukalale, lakini link umewekewa. Sasa usilie sana.
Kama unaniwekea kama ibaki 13 minutes uende. Si uende ba.
Hakuna 13 minutes. Ongea. Unakuja hapa na hasira. Maliza hasira kwa Gachagua, si mimi ama Ruto. Usinimalize hapa.
Mimi kunywa hasira ninayo, tunatembea tuna. Anyway.
Hello?
Uko salama?
Niko salama, asante. Na natarajia hata wewe pia uko sawa pale huko. Najua uko Golgotha.
Nilikuwa nimetembea kidogo. Nilikuwa nimeenda kuangalia hii maneno ya Gachagua impeachment nikarudi.
So unaonaje hii mambo ya impeachment? Nipatie maoni yako. Na Morara.
Unajua hii kitu wale ambao bado wanalala ndio haielewi hii kitu. Hii kitu inaeleweka vizuri.
Wasaidie waelewe.
Hii ni kitu yenye unatuchezea akili ya Wakenya. Unajua the final say ni Senate. Hata wabunge wangevote wote, the final say itakuwa ya Senate. Senate ikisema aende, hiyo ndio itakuwa, lakini by the look of things ni kama itaenda. Juu unaona vile wakina nani wanafanya pale kwa Senate. Wale wanajifanya wasomi kumbe ni washenzi kutuliko. Hata sisi hatu kwenda class. So wacha tungoje tuone, hiyo hatuwezi sema before ifike, but on my side mi naona vizuri. Hii Gachagua ameshinda hii.
Ameshinda kabisa.
Hii ameshinda. Kama hajashinda then itakuwa kitu ingine. Anyway, then huyu jamaa wetu anaitwa Morara. Mwambie akunywe. Nilimkuandikia mwambie aende akunywe maziwa. Atulize mwili yenye aligongwa. Akirudi tena na stori za jaba juu si tumezoea. I'm not against him, but the truth to be told. You cannot come from nowhere then you say that you want to be a president, then what you are doing is like, you don't know, you're still a child in the politics. Unaona? Asione kwamba kama wamezingirwa na watu 3-4 anaona kama amependwa. Anafanya kazi nzuri kuexpose wa nini, but nilikwambia wacha mjamaa aende ang'ang'ane. Hata kama hajajiadhari, utapata ya kwamba atasimama kuwa president apate kura 4.
4 tu.
4 kama familia yako anaweza mpea familia maybe afike 10 maybe. Juu you see how he's talking like, mimi nilikuwa nimecheka by the way, sio kwa ubaya. Wakati ni walikuwa na dress, wa familia walikuwa na dress nini media ati aligongwa. Mtu mwenye amegongwa ati sasa anatembea ni kama kuku mwenye ameshikwa na ile ugonjwa wa kuku mbele ya watu kwa media. If you want to be a president, you have to be strong. hata ukimoja kama hapo useme mimi niligongwa, lakini unajua kama alikuwa anasema aligongwa kiasi gani, na ile ugongwa aligongwa, sijakataa, but vile alikuwa na misbehave, at least alikuwa na misbehave, maybe watu wampee pesa kidogo aone kama hiyo.
Hey, Nyagaka, please kuja usitetee Morara hapo. Unajua Nyagaka ni mtu wa Morara kamili. Ametuambia babake alikuwa kama babake George Morara. I never got the chance kujua George Morara. Nani Melchizedek, umejua George Morara? Ulimjua?
Mimi sijui. Mimi nilisikia Morara hizi karibuni after Gen Z nini. Kama nani nilikwambia kuna last time niliwaambia hapa ile maneno ya nini? Maneno ya Kasmuel.
Ulituambia, hebu tukumbushe.
Vile atasaliti wana sijui wana Gen Z. Uliona vile ameenda kucheza na wakina baba huko?
Alienda hata kwa nyumba ya baba, uliona? Yeye na nani? Na Gaucho.
Si ndio? Ni wao ndio unasema ya kwamba the future leaders. The rotten one. Actually, actually unajua Gaucho nilikuwa na rafiki Gaucho sana when I was in Nairobi, by the way. Unajua Gaucho from kutoka kitambo sana. Na mimi pia amenijua kwa sababu tulikuwa tuko na yeye kwa ghetto, tulikuwa tunafanya vituko zetu. Kuna vitu zingine ambazo huwezi sema hapa, but the reality is nani nimemjua vizuri huyo mwenye shikana na Kasmuel. Kasmuel amepotea na hata patikana tena. Juu ile gang yenye ameingia amejiuza. Ile ni corruption ile yenye najua Gaucho anasikianga vizuri kwa sababu analishwa. Unaona? Ati anasemanga ana work hard, hakuna ku work hard. Ndio ameshikana na anaitwa nani? Anaitwa Kasmuel. Taniambia hapa siku moja.
Hebu nani yako hapa tuambie mambo ya Morara. Wewe unachafua jina ya Morara. Hebu tusikie na tuambia nini, maybe kuna kitu ambacho hatujaelewa about Morara. Karibu Mpeni Nyagaka. Karibu.
Asante sana. Na huyu Mnasendik mtu mzuri na msalimu sana. Na waja ni anza ya kwamba Wanjiku alikuwa anasema ati Morara alisema nani Gachagua is worse than Ruto. It is true, because it is an argument that they were making that compare the two. He has been going all over the country exposing what Ruto has done. So how do you marry him to Ruto? And when he points out that these are the same people, lakini come to the matter of the day, what you have said, Kenya revolutionary. Huyu kijana comes from a very long history. Maybe I was like in the secondary school when I knew his grandfather. And his grandfather had come exactly like this guy is doing. Because at that time, there was James Nemoya, there was George Lawrence Agini, that were very popular and very strong leaders from Gusii to the nation. But George Morara and this guy, he reminds me of that Burkina Faso guy, Tuare, Thomas Sankara, the same way. Because this guy, his grandfather came and he's named all over Kisii, the children that are named Morara, because they liked him a lot. He penetrated between the two. And his grandfather great-grandfather was the representative from Gusii, the Lechiko, Kenya's legislature, when they were Koroni in Kenya. So that for some of us, we really believe that this guy is coming Yet he doesn't forget where he came from. And he has said the story about how his granddaddy was killed because he had met somebody who had killed Tom Boyer. And he said when he came to Nairobi, he called the press conference and said, by Wednesday, we have to dig the grave of this guy because I met him in either Malawi or Zambia. And before Wednesday, he was killed coming from Eldoret. But he was hard-headed, just like this guy, because he was told to sleep in Kakamega where I'd gone. He said, no, I have to be with my wife tonight. And he didn't make it. So to some of us, this is a guy who has to really prove something to some of us. Because when we were young, when his grandfather came through and he penetrated all these guys and he became the most popular gentleman in Kenya. And he was killed by the Kenyan government. So be it. I mean, William Besema, he says it very clearly. He's going to be the leader of the opposition because Raila chooses to go anywhere. Raila has really failed us completely because when the first time Moi brought him in the 80s, they had gone to court because Moi had stolen the election from him. Kibaki, Matiba, and Raila. And by Friday, Raila was the Minister of Energy and Secretary General to that. And then in 2002, he threw Nyachaya under the bus and he joined Kibaki. And those guys they ended up stealing the election. 2007, I believe that Raila won that election. But they ended up stealing the election from him just as he had overturned the election on 1987 and joined Raila. And then you come to Kenyatta. Kenyatta brought him in because he was here in the States when he said that he would explain how that money ended up in the Panama. And guess what? He came to Kenya and shake hands with Raila. And you never heard the story. Now with Ruto, is their daddy money. The government, everything that he has sold out. Who should be pointing out this mess that is going on in Kenya? It is the leader of the opposition. But guess what? He brought him in and everything has died on.
Yeah. That's a good point. Actually, the parliament should be mentioning that. But I get what you're saying. But what do you make about what the people who are supporting Morara and they're saying tunampatia pesa lakini hailezi pale pesa inaenda na anaombaomba pesa sana alafu pia hiyo mambo yake ya injury it looks what's your response to people who think about that?
Kenya Revolution, ukianza with the argument that you don't like him, you will never like him because
no.
Let me finish.
Not me.
Okay, everybody that really, even Wanchiku, the lady, the person that was pointing it out.
Yeah,
it is what it is. It is what it is. Because
ngoja kidogo, wacha nikuulize. Well, let me make it clear. Unakumbuka vile ulikuja hapa last time I said the reason why I like Morara ni vile the way he came to the scene was different. He was exposing Ruto. So unakumbuka?
Sindio?
Yeah, I like the way he was moving. He was very clear anataka kurun for president, which is fine. Lakini mimi nikaanza kukuwa na maswali zangu, nikaanza kuwa na suspicions zangu vile watu walikuwa namuuliza lakini yenyewe chali we kazi yako umeacha mambo ya ile vampire kuexpose sasa hivi unaombaomba pesa sasa zote. Alafu number 2 vile alikuwa anasema alichapwa, hatusemi hati ya kuchapwa, vile alitupiwa hizo maninio alafu akaanza kutembea sijui hivi mara ni kama alikuwa na mambo yake. So mimi nauliza, how do you respond to wale watu wanasema wanamuuliza nyewe Morara tulikutumia hiyo ilienda wapi? Ilienda kwa security ama ilienda kwa hospitali, your bills ilienda wapi? And he's not answering. Anasema wewe usijali, mtu anataka kunifuata nifuate, mtu asifuate asifuate. What do you make about that as a supporter of Morara? Kwa sababu mimi nilisema I have my suspicion. Go ahead, sorry.
No, those are very genuine questions. And Mira Besema, even if he explains it a billion times, those who believes it will believe it. Those who don't won't. But
But he hasn't explained it though.
but those are very, very genuine questions. We will never. I don't think that I will ever criticize whoever questions the idea that I give you my $2 and you don't explain me. Come on, you will not explain me. You that mia moja, I will not have to explain you. But hii ya Murara, he has to explain. Bila
Can I say
amesema
something?
yeye mwenyewe, he's not perfect. He makes mistakes. So let us hear what he has to say for the details. Because Babu, I agree with you 100 times because he has to say where the money is going. Bila alisema, he bought the car, he put the sound system in it, all this and that and that and that. And when you saw him go to M1, whatever, they were giving him 100 shillings, 100, 200, 20, 10. And we appreciate that. I mean, I think he appreciates that. But Kulisa at Besa imeenda wapi? That's a genuine question.
Can I say something?
Yeah, say something.
Okay. First of all, nataka kusema vile nilianza, we are not against Morara at all because the guy came out clearly and he did a perfect job that we thought that he will continue with the job that he was doing. All of a sudden, he changed the tune. First of all, you remember when he said that he cannot run for any seat, even the president, when he was doing the interview. We have the clips. It's not something that we are just cooking, if I'm not wrong. Then after a few days, he said that maybe he can run for a president apart from any. Then this tune just going, and now he became now he wants to become the leader of the opposition, which we don't know how it will work actually. But that one is just a word from the mouth of from Morara and his uncle here, Nyagaka.
His uncle. Kwani amekwambia ni uncle yake?
So, sorry. The moment you want to do something which is genuine, when someone asks you a question, the way people were asking about the money, he could have just come out directly and give us people that this is the money that you give, the money that you sent to me did this one, and this one. It will be very, very clear and people will continue to trust you and nobody will talk about you. But when you are asked something about the money, then you said, let's eat. Wenye walikuwa wenye wanaongea wawacha waongee, there is a doubt somewhere. And that one is 100% that when even you, Nyagaka, if you did something that is good for people and you went mess up with a small thing, you are spoiling your good name. And you remember, in the Bible it's written, the good name is better than what? If you don't know the Bible, you can go ahead and ask Nyagaka. I think he can read the Bible better than me. So
I don't know that say, so I'll ask Nyagaka.
So
better than money.
better than money. So anything that is against people's will, you are spoiling your good name and you are spoiling what you are doing. Even in the company, when you are working, you can do 100 perfect thing, but when you do a small mistake, that 100 is not seen. It will only see the one that you made a mistake. So the advice that we should give Morara is he should come out clearly and mention where the money was given and how he worked with them, and then he continued with what he was doing until the day that he came out and said, now this one is successful, now I want to do like this on my side. But if these things are not working the way you think, you may think it's very easy. Then I'm saying Morara will mess up before it reach 2027 where you want to be the president.
Okay.
My point is at home. You can bring it back if I mess up somewhere.
Okay, Nyagaka ulikuwa na kitu?
Wacha kutupikia.
Anasema vizuri sana. I agree with you 100%. Ni ya kwamba we have to point out where there are mistakes. Na huyu Morara, if we get hold of him, Merosini, tutamuuliza hiyo question, ana tutamwambia hiyo. But
Unamwita Milosevic.
hiyo jina gumu. Lakini nikwambia usichange, don't change it to Onyango or Okero. Just call yourself Merosini. Sasa, when the points that you are raising, and let me remind you something. Wewe ndio ulisema huyu Kasamuel is a bogus guy, anakunywa sana, na sisi tukacheka, tunasema wengine tunapata hiyo drink basi, lakini wewe you had seen something that we had not seen in Kasamuel vile he came out, na wewe ulisema this guy is as bogus as they come. Lakini huyu nani what I was basing my argument on Kenya Revolutionary ni kwamba some of us saw, especially the granddad, how clear he was, how distinguished he was to the people, and they killed him as a young person at 32 years old, and he was a dear friend to Tom Mboya. Tom Mboya had brought him here with the airlift, the granddad. Now, and that's how genuine he was. And if this guy can ever even be a half of what his granddaddy was, we'll really appreciate it. But the Kenyan Revolutionary, point out the maneno ya pesa ni kitu ngumu sana na ni kitu mzuri. Kwa sababu we don't just collect the money from everywhere. You just work hard for that money. Asante.
Yeah. Asante. Nasikia kuna watu wanamfanyia campaign huko ni Houston, Texas somewhere, or Texas, somewhere in Texas. So I don't know. But vile nimesema, me at first nilikuwa nafurahia, nafanya kazi nzuri, but to me I'm now convinced that ujamaa he's probably, especially vile alisema mambo ya Gachagua, maana kama Gachagua ni deputy, kwa nini unamwendea deputy? So nimwendee boss wake, kwa sababu boss wake ndio ako na power ndio. Now, to your point Nyagaka, his grandfather might, just because his grandfather was a great man and was very bold and was doing very good things, that usually does not necessarily mean that nani atakuwa pia kama grandfather yake. Alianza vizuri, Morara alianza vizuri. Alikuja na style yake vile I said, lakini saa hizi tukiangalia tukimsoma vizuri ni kama mambo yake aininio. Now, one thing we might agree with, we can say let's see, because time will tell. So even if we unafikiria Morara is on the right path, that's fair. We know, none of us, you or me, we don't know the absolute truth, but tuko na maoni yetu vile tunamsoma. So with time tunaweza kukuja hapa alafu tuseme nyewe Morara alitucheza. Mimi nasema tu I can see the same signs nilikuwa naona kwa nani, especially vile anaongea, vile hii mambo ya pesa, vile tumesema mambo ya pesa ni ngumu, lakini vile pia Milosevic ametuambia, you know, kama ukieleza tu vizuri vile umetumia pesa, hakuna mtu atakusumbua. In fact, people will be happy to give you more money kwa sababu uko na accountability. Utasema haya nilipatia na hivi. So as it stands, we can agree to disagree with Nyagaka respectfully. Wewe unamwona ni mtu sawa, mimi niko na nini suspicions zangu. In fact, I think mimi nafikiri anafanyia Ruto kazi, but I might be wrong. I'm not always right. So yeah, that is what it is. As far as Gachagua, I don't know how this will go. Like I said, let me say I don't know how it will go. If I was to kusema pale nani ataenda, I think Gachagua will not be impeached. He will stay the deputy president. Ita divide, watu wa mlima watasimama na yeye, some communities also will stand with him. Maybe nani pia atasimama na yeye, probably Kalonzo. it will divide up the country in tribal kakunze ya ile ya kawaida. Sasa watu wa ODM na watu wa ninio, watu wa president watakaa pamoja. Just the same thing as you saw after the handshake. People will kind of the tribal thing as usual. But in my opinion, and again, I might be wrong, I think this is a whole grand game that Gachagua, Ruto, Raila, watu wote wanatuchezea tu vile walituchezea nini. Ndio maana nimemuuliza kama mlikuwa mnafikiria Kenyatta na Ruto walikuwa maadui, why did Kenyatta alimpatia power kama alikuwa amemchukia Ruto? Kwa nini alimpatia power? Ama unaonaje? Nyajaka, unafikiri nani ata survive? Nani ata survive kweli huyu Gachagua? Kwa sababu I might be wrong. Maoni yako namna gani Nyagaka?
I agree with you 100% that to survive. Lakini to extend the point that some of us really feel sorry, because how could have we trusted a guy like Ruto? How stupid do you have to get to kick somebody out that you don't have a guarantee that you will kick him out? He has put all the parliamentarians, but the senators, those are guys, I think, Kinasufuna, they want to go somewhere. They want to get somewhere. Now, they will make him survive. I think they will survive. Lakini yangu najiuliza, I look at myself and I say, hey, Maze, I was stupid. Why did I trust this guy so much? Now, you saw when we came to finance show, you didn't want to defend. I thought that this guy was saying that something that made sense. Kuja kujua kwamba he didn't understand anything that he was talking about, except that anaandikiwa mzuri and he has a good delivery, and that's it. Because hii kitu kama tuseme, for example, nawaambiaga all the time, bottom up economics. This is what the Eastern European Asian countries use. This is what Europe used. You expand the tax base, and then use that to finance the country. Vile Kibaki alifanya. Lakini this guy is busy stealing. The corruption is the highest it has ever been. So you would never get anywhere. Now you extend it to what he's doing to Gachagua, and Gachagua will survive it. If he fails in the Senate, it will definitely survive in the courts, because the courts, you have to bring evidence. Now, you saw what he gave the parliamentarians yesterday. He was speaking exactly like Ruto was speaking. Ruto was casting knocking them out. Now, how you blame this guy by himself, but don't blame the other person? Ruto is the one who told him to go to the mountain and do away with the liquor, the alcohol. Do away with have the bonus increased. How can you say he's a tribalist and yet you are the one who gave him the job? Well, he will survive. To come to your point, he will survive. If he doesn't survive on Senate, he will survive in the court system.
The court.
And then
I agree
you
with
see how stupid this guy is, Ruto. Then it turns personal to some of us. Like, Papa, how could have I ever trusted somebody as stupid as this?
To be fair, Nyagaka, si wewe peke yako ulidanganywa, hata watu ambao walikuwa wanafuata Raila pia walidanganywa. Kwa sababu
ya watu wa Kisii walikuwa wanapenda Raila sana. Sasa siku hizi wananiambia don't even mention his name.
Mwacha Melchia ingia, hata tuingie Milosevic atuambie mambo ya baba hapa. Mechi kuna nini? Kuna echo kwa nini yako, sijui
echo inatoka juu. Sahii nimeingia kwa nyumba.
Endelea. Mimi nikiongea najisikia, lakini wewe ukiongea sisikii. Endelea.
Wacha kusema ati wenye walikuwa wamevotia baba walichezwa.
Hawakuchezwa.
Hiyo nataka kukuambia. Mwenye alivotiwa ndiye alikuwa mjinga. We ushaona kama sahii unajua nani Nyagaka anapika sijui anapika mbukimo ama nini, alafu ukishapika umeweka kwa meza, mtu anakuja anachukua kwa meza, anaenda na unaangalia tu. Yani unajua saa zingine naulizanga huyu mzee alikuwa amelaniwa ama alikuwa anatembea, alifanya nini? Unajua I still
lakini philosophy, wewe unaweza kuibiwa mara 3 na umekaa tu. Ni nini mchezo?
si ndio nakuuliza, unaibwa mara 3 na bado unang'etia tu hapa tu, unakuja unasema ya kwamba hata niliibiwa leo. Then to make the matter worse, ambayo ilifanya tukakasirika na huyu mzee, sio siku hizi, sio hata baba, huyu mzee ati yeye ndiye anaorganize ile nini noma ile inaitwaje, maandamano mpaka watu wanaulewa, then ana change all of a sudden, anakuja anasema ya kwamba sasa tuongee. Na huyo ndiye alisema ya kwamba this time around hakuna kunini, sijui hakuna handshake. Pumbafu. Ningekuwa na bunduki karibu na huyu jamaa, sahii angekuwa
Acha mambo ya violence hapo wewe. We don't condone violence in this channel.
No. Sio violence. This is reality. Tumekuamini mpaka wewe ndio umesema ya kwamba wewe ndio unaorganize watu wanauliwa, na alafu ngoja hata kupata AU hakuna. Si nimekwambia? Tumemulaania mpaka kufe. Honda aende alime na nini na aida yake huko kwenda kabisa.
Lakini watu wengi wanapenda aina sana.
Nyagaka, ulikuwa unasema?
Ninasema bibi yake watu wengi wanampenda, she's cool, lakini huyo mzee ndio mbaya. Hata watu wengi wa Kisii 99% walikuwa wanampenda. Hata marafiki yangu, my brothers, my cousins wanasema, walikuwa wananiambia wewe ukitaka ugavana kuja, wewe unazungumza kama mzee nini, lakini lazima uwe ODM. Na waambia I will never dream of that. Sasa siku hizi hao waheshimiwa wananiambia wewe uliona namna gani? Uliona kitambo namna gani? Huyu usiseme hata jina yake, don't even mention his name. Kwa hiyo watu wanakasirika na yeye mbaya sana. But this guy, he used his father's credentials. Mzee wake alikuwa very different from him. He was very different. Mzee wake alikuwa anazungumza kama ile ndugu yake mkubwa. He always gave a very clean speech. They frustrated mzee wake. They frustrated him so much. Ndio akaresign. Hata kwa alikuwa na weka karata, alikuwa na bad nation, anakaa kwa ofisi yake nje. Sekretari yake ndio walikuwa anatufungua ya ofisi yake. Lakini alikuwa cool. Alikuwa anasema wacha watu waamini nani atakuwa president ya Kenya. And the next day he's in under house arrest ama nini. Lakini mzee wake was a solid. Some of us Kenyan revolutionary would never ever say anything wrong about his father. Mzee alikuwa mzuri. He was down to earth. And I went to school in Migori, and he brought all the Luo ambassadors. Uko was there. Uko, I think, was ambassador to Ethiopia or something. Na mzee alikuwa anazungumza ile Kijaluo tip, na si wengine tunajaribu hatukujua sana. But he was a solid guy. He had ideas about is the one, kitu ya mwisho nitakwambia, is the one who really wanted to do away with the ideas of DCs, PCs, and all this. Mzee alikuwa anasema, this is colonial relic. We don't need them. And it is true. And why they are there up to this today, one wonders.
Okay. Sasa ndio sasa unaona. Sasa baba yake anaweza kuwa revolutionary, lakini mtoto ni kama ndio maana nilikuwa nakuwekea hiyo the same point ya George Morara na huyu Kebaso. They can be different. The father might
lakini huyu Raila speaks, sio hata even his father was speaking. His father was genuine. Na Raila is genuine. Watu wanamfuata tu, wanakuwa psychopaths, wanafuata huyu Morara. Kama he is not going to answer the questions of Mali vile mnasema Kenyan Revolutionary, we are not going to follow him. No.
Aliwaambia ati mkitaka kumwacha mumwache, mshuke, ataendelea na safari yeye peke yake. Awabembelezi. Anyway, asanteni. Mi leo sitakaa sana. Sasa mkitaka na your last words, wacha nimalize ndio niende kwa hizo shakahola zingine, niangalie watu wanasema nini. Leo nilikuwa nataka tu nisikie mambo ya Morara na nitoe maoni yangu. So, any last words from Nyagaka, alafu tuende Milosevic?
Okay, Kenyan Revolutionary, thank you very much for opening us, and thank you very much, because show yako iko very intellectual na tunasikia vile tunataka, and you give us an opportunity to air our opinions and ideas how we want. Sio kudirect ya kwamba hii na hii na hii. Ni vile the way you handle your business is good, and thank you very much for this opportunity that you have given me. Appreciate that.
Asante. Anytime Nyagaka, unajua wewe ni mzee wa show, wewe mzee wa siasa. Sasa tunakuitanga kama mambo imechacha. So thank you so much. Melchi Milosevic, hebu tueleze maoni yako ya mwisho kabla nifunge duka, ama umelala?
Sahi nalala, napiga vile nitapiga, nani aende alale. Najua sahi napiga vile nani anaenda nyumbani. Unasema nini?
That is funny.
There's always someone in the show who makes it day.
Unajua
mtu amekosa ni kitu.
Mimi kitu yenye napenda, mimi kitu napenda kwa hii dunia ni kitu moja. Mimi sio baba narudiange nyuma. Mimi nikishasema nimesema. So nimeshukuru sana kwa kutupea link. Anyway, tunakuforce ili tukupee. Siku moja tutakuimpeach. Hata nini? Tuko tuna Nyagaka hapa na Kiki akikuja tunakuimpeach. Kiki ndiye anakuwa the moderator, wewe unakuwa Gandawala. Unaona ni kama hizi unapiga kifua. Kama Morara anasema wenye wanasema, Morara anasema ati kama utaki kaa na mimi, kaa na mamako. Wewe pia utakaa tu hapo, utakuongoja hapa.
What is good for the Ganda is good for the Uganda.
Of course.
Asante Melchizedek. Sawa, nitajaribu kuingia mapema on Saturday na siku nyingine ndio tungangane marathon. Hopefully wakina Kiki na Kipo wataingia wote. Na Nyagaka pia.
Sawa.
You mean like kuwaona face to face, all of you guys. Some of us want to see you face to face.
Nisi uko Texas. Ni Dallas ama wapi?
Dallas.
Bado tuko na memorial ile wa Kenya, memorial weekend ama
mimi niko Golgotha. Kama unataka na Yesu
We'll see you, Milosevic. We'll see you somewhere. Hata huko ushago.
Sawa jamani. Haya.
Mimi hata
Tuonane
ushago
kesho.
sana.
Sawa. Kaka, mimi kama unataka kuniona itachukua centuries ndio ufike kwangu. Niko karibu na Yesu kabisa. Hapo Golgotha.
Wapi huko?
Hapa Golgotha tu. Ama ujui. Huko ndio ninakaa. Mulale salama.
Okay, then.
Usiumize huyo mzee. Bye.